At my wife's corporate gala, her coworkers called me a loser, and she laughed with them.
I never wanted to go to that dinner. Corporate events always feel like a performance, you know? Forced smiles, shallow conversations, and everyone sizing each other up. But my wife, Melissa, insisted. She said it was important for her career, and after 5 years of supporting her ambitions, I caved. That decision didn't just change the evening. It forced me to see my marriage for what it had truly become. My name is Thomas Reid. In New York's financial district, most people only knew me as Melissa's husband, a background character at Haven Capital's fancy events. I'd show up in a suit she always said could be a bit more modern and stand quietly while she networked. To them, I was just the guy who tagged along. If they only knew the truth. The gala at the Grand Sterling Hotel was the usual spectacle: chandeliers, live musicians, champagne flowing. Haven Capital was celebrating another big win. Melissa looked stunning, completely in her element. She told me to mingle, to be on my best behavior, and to make a good impression on her boss, Alan Brooks. She also said I should be polite, not sarcastic, and definitely not be myself too much. That should have been my first red flag. For the first couple of hours, I played the part she needed me to. Then she led me toward a group near the stage. Standing with them was Carter Wilson from legal, a guy I remembered all too well. Last year, at a Christmas party, he'd cornered me to brag about his Porsche and suggest Melissa had married down. His handshake was just as aggressive as before, his grin just as smug. He joked that Melissa must have made me up since I never came to these things. She tried to laugh it off, but he pushed harder, loudly repeating a rumor that I was between jobs. Melissa insisted I was consulting in tech, a lie that made me raise my eyebrows. I was working nonstop on a project she knew nothing about. It wasn't consulting, it was the beginning of a breakthrough. Carter and his friends piled on, asking how long I'd been exploring options, comparing me to someone who just sits on the couch all day. Then Carter went for the kill, loudly asking how it felt to be a loser living off his wife. And then Melissa laughed. It wasn't loud, but it was real. The woman whose dreams I'd supported through law school and business struggles was laughing with the people mocking me. That was the moment everything clicked into place. I set my drink down, straightened my suit, and was suddenly done playing a role. Carter asked again, "So, how does it feel to be a loser?" I turned to her boss and asked very calmly, "Alan, how does it feel to run a company secretly owned by a supposed loser like me?" A confused silence fell over the group. Melissa dropped her champagne glass. I told Alan that Haven Capital's majority shareholder through a network of shell companies was me. I handed him my card. My real title, CEO of Reid Ventures. The air shifted instantly, every smirk died. Carter went pale. Melissa looked terrified. I told Carter that insulting the man who effectively signs his checks must feel pretty humiliating. Then I looked at Melissa. "I have an early meeting with my lawyers about Haven Capital," I said, and walked out before anyone could respond. In the hallway, I called Sarah Gold, a brilliant analyst who had been secretly collecting evidence of fraud inside Haven Capital. She confirmed the emergency board meeting for the next morning. Alan and several executives had been siphoning money from the company, and Sarah had documented everything. My ownership was never about vanity. It was to give Melissa a platform to grow. But the company had become corrupt, and Melissa had become someone I barely recognized. I didn't go home. I went to my real office, Reid Ventures headquarters, a place Melissa had never seen, never even asked about. I spent the night reviewing Sarah's files, preparing to dismantle the rot Alan had allowed to fester. When I finally got home, Melissa was sitting in the dark. She asked if it was true. I said yes. She demanded to know why I never told her. I asked her why she laughed when her colleagues called me a loser. She tried to say it was a nervous laugh, but I could see the truth on her face. I told her about the fraud, the board meeting. She panicked, screaming that I was ruining her life. She slapped me. I told her I'd be staying in one of my other apartments for a while. She looked shocked that I had a life she knew nothing about. The board meeting went exactly as planned. The evidence was overwhelming. Alan was removed. I nominated Sarah as interim CEO, and they agreed. But just as we finished, Melissa barged into the boardroom, screaming accusations. Security had to remove her. The scandal exploded. Within days, Melissa's affair with Carter became public. Surveillance footage confirmed they were also involved in moving company funds. The feds raided Haven Capital. Melissa was arrested. Alan was caught trying to flee. The company was rebuilt, ethical and strong under Sarah's leadership. I visited Melissa in the detention center. She looked defeated, blaming everyone but herself. She asked for my help, asked if there was any chance for us. I told her no. Prison was inevitable. She had destroyed her own future long before that gala. I left without looking back. I put my own name on my company for the first time, Reid Financial Group. I stopped hiding my life behind someone else's ambition. Melissa became a lesson I'll never forget. When someone shows you who they truly are, you can't unsee it. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please like this video and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.